Your girlfriend says you are talented. Your mom proudly hung your sunflower print in the living room. Your friends call you the photographer. But deep down inside, you're not so sure. Is your photography actually good? Or you're just good at looking like a photographer? This feeling that you're somehow faking it, that's called the imposter syndrome. And it's way more common in the art world and in photography in general. So in this video, we're going to talk about how you can evaluate your photography honestly, not through the likes of other people or praise, but through something deeper. And maybe, just maybe, make a peace with that voice in your head that keeps asking, am I actually good? Why we doubt ourselves? You've got all the gear, you've been doing photography for years, you know your way around camera settings, composition and editing. So why do you still feel so unsure sometimes? Why does it feel like other photographers are doing better and they're always one step ahead? This is the first sign of imposter syndrome. Your mind whispers things like, your work only looks good to people who have no clue about photography. Your work gets liked only because people are polite and they hope you will like their work back. If they actually had an idea what photography is about, they will immediately see through and see how shallow my work is. You want a funny thing? That voice, that imposter syndrome, doesn't go away with experience and time. Sometimes, the more you learn, the more you realize how much you don't know, it creates this endless cycle that you don't know everything and makes you feel not good enough. And there's the illusion of external validation. So what do we do when we don't know if we're good enough? We go outside looking for confirmation, and usually we'll look outside of yourselves. And there is a whole world of social media that is built on likes and social validation. Some people, for example, turn to Facebook groups. There are literally thousands of them. Street photography, travel photography, portraits, film, black and white, every style of photography has this group or another. Many of them would have weekly challenges to engage their people. One week it's people with umbrellas, next week is shooting from behind. So you see these challenges and decide to participate. Post your photo and hope to be finalist or a winner, get some recognition. And when you don't win, it stings. You wonder, is my work not good enough? Why did that photo win and not mine? And the truth is kind of nuanced, because sometimes winning has less to do with how good your photograph is and more to do with how active you're in the group or what is your relationship with the other admins and people in the group in general. These are communities, and for them to thrive, active members often get these small rewards. So if you comment, like, participate every week, you're most likely to be noticed and recognized. That's not necessarily bad, that's just human behavior. That's the game most of us play to get that social approval. But if you're measuring your worth by whatever you win these challenges, you're standing on kind of a shaky ground, because sometimes your best work gets completely unnoticed, and sometimes a random shot gets spotlighted. And when that happens, it fuels your imposter syndrome even more, because the confirmation, the one that you are actually seeking for, is not there. And there's a funny thing, after spending few months in these groups, you kind of know the system, so you accept that there is certain rotation here, and you manage to get your little wins. That boosts your self-esteem for a bit, but then it all goes down again. Because deep inside you know that the system is not perfect, and this is not the real confirmation you were searching for. So, what do? You go to Instagram, the miracle of recognition. Instagram photograph communities work in a similar way to Facebook. They will have a few members who will go through the photos of the group hashtag and see if they find anything interesting to feature in the group page. Some of them will have weekly challenges as well, and if you use the weekly hashtag, you will get into the competition and maybe you will get recognized and your work will be featured. And when it does, wow, it feels real. You got picked from thousands of other posts. You've gained some new followers, and it might mean something, right? Well, yes and no. Instagram used to be a really good place to get real exposure, but ever since Meta realized people were growing their accounts without paying, they started crippling these hashtags. You used to be able to search hashtag by latest or top, and that allowed the community admins really to go photograph and be able to choose from the latest one. Now, it's mostly algorithm driven. So if the hashtag is popular and there are thousands of submissions, your work might never surface. And as much as it is about the algorithm and what it thinks people like, photographs that are not visually strong will usually pass under the radar. If your compositions are a little bit more complex or objects smaller, most people will not be able to see it on a thumbnail and will scroll over, and that will make the algorithm punish you. So a photograph that might have been potentially great viewing in a big size suddenly will get punished because it doesn't grab the attention right away. So once again, you post, wait for the weekly results, refresh, and when nothing happens, that voice comes back. Maybe I'm just not good enough. Maybe my work is not good. And here a dangerous idea manifests in your mind. Let me look at what gets picked every week, and I will try to do the same so I can have a better chance to be chosen. And that's how you easily kill your creativity and personal voice, to fit the algorithm. But here's something important. Just because your work didn't get picked doesn't mean that it isn't good. It only means it doesn't get clicked at first glance, but it can carry a lot of depth and meaning if properly looked at. So maybe Instagram again is not the best platform to seek for your public approval. Now there are some other platforms like 1x, 35 Awards, Viewback, Guru Shots, Pix Photo, and many more. Some of these have professional juries. Some use community voting, some combine both. But before you jump in, let me give you a warning. These platforms, first, they can be addictive. Submitting, checking, participating in voting on other people's work, waiting for editors to notice your work. It can give you real feedback, especially if you see that you're getting onto the top 90% of other photographers. But it can also feed your imposter syndrome if you're not careful. Because the moment you don't get selected, you will start the same loop again. Maybe I'm not good enough. Maybe it's the algorithm. And there is more to it. It's their business model. Most of them don't make money from advertising like Instagram or Facebook. They earn from membership, premium accounts, credits, and so on. And if you're not a paid user, you're again not in line with the rest. I remember the days that 1x used to be a platform where if your photograph gets approved, then you're considered to be someone really good. I don't know if all photographers that surround me became really good or something changed in the 1x algorithm, but it seems now that every second photographer gets accepted and his work gets featured. So we kind of get the idea with social media and photography platforms that are online. What about competition? And here you say, well, I'll just go and participate in photography competition. If I win a competition, I must be good. Let me tell you a little secret. There are about 300, 400 photography competitions held every month. So if you photograph on a decent level and apply to 20-ish, there's a good chance that you will get selected. I've noticed a recent trend in these photography competition that they will split the competition into multiple small categories, and each of these categories will have 25 finalists. But before you get to the finalist, you might have your photo selected to be considered as finalist. So when you're getting an email that your photo is selected and you will be moving to the next stage, you feel over the moon. Oh my God, I'm like getting closer to win that competition. You're almost there. But sometimes these selected photographs, they can be hundreds. There can be hundreds of other images that are also selected. It's all done to feed your self-esteem and play around with your imposter syndrome. So you have been selecting means nothing, but being one of the 25 finalists is good. But again, in such a small category. So again, no full confirmation and full confidence. So next step would be to search for a decent, serious competitions. But over there, the competition is so hard because everyone is after the lucrative recognition. So if you don't win, you get that voice in the head again. Yes, I win in the small bullshit competitions, but I'm not good enough for the larger ones. And we're going down again. But let's say I win the largest photo competition and my work gets published in many magazines. Will that solve it? Will I feel good enough after that? There's a good chance that even then you will still feel that somehow it's not a real accomplishment. And to be real photographer, you need to get a Pulitzer Prize. Guys, there is a good chance that that little worm inside our minds that needs this external validation will never stop. Most of people who have it are carrying it from far back in their childhood. This is the problem with imposter syndrome. You feel that your accomplishments don't lead to a sense of competence. And here is the large-scale problem. The social media platforms, the photography competitions, they're all set up in such a way to send you up and down on an emotional roller coaster. All this cycle of approval and disapproval can lead you to unbalanced state of mind and can actually be damaging for you. It can affect your growth in photography or your general mental well-being. So how to deal with it? Let's look at a few practical steps. First, you need to acknowledge the problem. Recognize the signs. Understand that self-doubt, perfectionism, fear or failure, not being happy with your results, and consistent comparison to others can be manifestation of imposter syndrome. The first step is to simply recognize and understand these feelings. It's okay to feel that way. Many capable people experience it. Remember that imposter syndrome is common. If you search a little bit about this, you can find that other, even highly successful people have very similar struggles. So you need to challenge your negative thoughts and reframe that narrative. Your feelings of not being good enough are often based on fear, not reality. So look for facts. Even these social media groups, you can sometimes feel When you get genuine recognition, remember these moments, keep a record of successes, create yourself a brag file or journal where you just write down your achievements, positive feedbacks, awards, certificates, and milestones that you passed. Regularly revisit this and to remind yourself that you're capable. Learn to accept compliments. When someone praises you, resist that urge to dismiss it or downplay it. Simply say thank you and allow yourself to internalize the positive feedback. This one is still very hard for me. I always get embarrassed when I get complimented, but I learn to accept them. But one of the most important and true yardstick to measure is growth. Look back at how far you come. Look at your work a year ago or 5 years ago and acknowledge that there is progress there. Talk to someone you trust. Share your feelings with friends, your partner, or your mentors. If you can find a mentor, someone whose opinion you respect and trust, and not someone who is going to sugarcoat things for you. A mentor can offer you guidance, perspective, and remind you of your worth when that self-doubt creeps in. But mostly be kind to yourself. Treat yourself with the same kindness and understanding you would offer to a friend that is in exactly the same situation. And here's probably the ugly truth. How do we get such social approval that we stop doubting? There is no single test. There is no platform, there is no person. Well, maybe if a Magnum member looks at your work and says it's good, that might serve as some sort of approval. But in general, there is no final stamp of approval. I learned that you will never possess 100% of the photography knowledge that exists in the world. You will always be better than some and worse than others. But as you proceed on this path, the chances are that you will improve and get better with every year. You will become a good photographer when you stop copying others. It is okay to copy in order to understand how it's done, but you will start feeling good about your photography and your work only when you start making your work that feels like you and comes from inside. You're a good photographer when you care less about this external approval and care more about making images that resonate with your own story and what you feel. Sometimes it means limiting time spent on social media, looking for these approvals, and use that time to focus on your own photography. And most importantly, you're a good photographer when you keep showing up, keep walking the way, keep improving, even when that voice in your head says that you're not good enough. Learn to love photography for what it gives you personally, beyond what other people think about it. And if you have the imposter syndrome, it's usually rooted so deeply that it never goes away completely. But it can become your companion instead of something that pulls you down. The doubt that you feel, it's not weakness. It means you care about what you do. It means you're growing. It means you want to get better. So next time, when that voice whispers that you are not good enough, you smile and say, I don't care. I love photography and I enjoy the process. The result is an outcome, and these outcomes will come when it's time. I would really like to hear your thoughts on this and how you are dealing with social approval and imposter syndrome. I hope you're enjoying my digging into this subject. Thanks you for watching and see you next time.